he never showed any signs of the war having any effect on him growing up. You know, he wasn't kind of prone to bouts of temper or depression or anything. He was just steady, you know, strong man. But if we ever had to wake him up, it was a problem, you know. So quite often in the afternoon, he'd get back from work in the afternoon, he'd have something to eat, and he'd go for his afternoon siesta, which is quite normal. And my mum would say, call one of us to go and wake him up. And we hated it, because you'd kind of walk down to his room and he'd be lying there on his bed, sound asleep. And no matter how quietly you tried, you'd whisper, "Dad," he would wake up with a scream. And he used to seem to almost levitate. He used to come off the bed because all his muscles would contract in a second. And he'd end up sitting up, red eyes, staring around him blankly. And then he'd suddenly see realization. And then he'd sort of tut and sort of lie back down. And we'd say, "Oh, well, Mummy asked us to wake you up." You know, it was terrifying for us. And all my mum would ever say, "Oh, it's the war." But I didn't understand what that meant. Now I think back, well, that's obviously PTSD.